Widely reused and shared, and frequently updated and sometimes inherited. A holistic view of PIN authentication in digital lives and beyond. Hi, I'm Ceci and I'll be presenting today on behalf of our team, including Hassan Khan, myself and Jonah Stegman from the University of Guelph, Adam Aviv from the George Washington University, Rozita Dara from the University of Guelph, and Ravi Kuber from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. PINs, or personal identification numbers, usually consist of 4 to 6 numerical digits. They're simple to administer and easy to use. They're widely used on a range of devices with limited input capabilities or where quick, reliable authentication is required. Because of usability and memorability concerns, many mobile and web apps are switching to PIN-based authentication as the default option. The average Canadian now participates in 12 loyalty programs, many of which now require PINs. The market for keyless home locks is growing rapidly, and most keyless home locks use PIN authentication. Previous studies have investigated the guessability of human-chosen PINs. However, the factors influencing PIN selection have not been investigated. A range of studies have focused on developing attack techniques or defending against attacks on PINs, but there's little research on how often users report attacks on their PINs, the defenses users employ, especially in different contexts, and the recourse of users after an attack has occurred. To obtain a holistic view of PIN authentication, and to investigate those differences between users' PIN management behaviors in different contexts, we categorize PIN-protected assets into 3 classes: digital, financial, and physical for the purposes of our study. Many common PIN-protected assets can be seen categorized in the above chart. We recognize that there is an overlap for some assets, such as online banking and smart home locks, so we categorize those as online banking as a financial asset and smart home locks as a physical asset. The goal of our research was to provide a broad analysis of PIN usage to determine how individuals use and manage their PINs across a wide variety of assets. Our main research questions were: how do individuals select new PINs and what factors influence PIN selection? We also wanted to know how often and why users update their PINs, how many users reuse their PINs, and do they reuse PINs across asset categories? How often do users perceive attacks on their PINs? And who do users share their PINs with? And does this vary between asset category type? To answer these questions, we conduct semi-structured interviews on 35 participants. The interviews were conducted on a well-balanced participant pool. The semi-structured interview format allowed participants to speak openly about their PIN management experiences. After collecting demographic information, participants were reminded of many common PIN-protected assets to ensure they didn't forget any, and were asked how often they used their PINs, how many PINs they used, and how many PIN-protected assets they had. They were then asked category-independent questions such as if they reused PINs. We asked the participants how many assets they had in each of the categories: digital, physical, and financial, and then asked participants questions on their most used PIN of each category. Some examples of asset-specific questions include PIN lifecycle questions, like how long the participant has been using the PIN, and if it was updated, questions on PIN sharing, and if they've experienced attacks on their PINs. Lastly, they were asked how they select new PINs for each asset category. Between the 35 participants, there were a total of 140 PINs, with the average participant having 4 PINs. In this graph, the age of participants' most used PIN for each category is compared. The median age ranged from 4.5 years for physical assets to 8.5 years for financial assets, but there was no evidence to suggest that PIN age varied significantly between asset types. Next, we investigate the factors that motivate users' PIN choices. For each asset type, participants were asked to rank the importance of 4 criteria when choosing PINs for that asset type. Security, choosing a PIN that will best protect the asset. Memorability, choosing a PIN that is easy to remember. Usability, choosing a PIN that's easy to enter. And reusability, choosing a PIN that they use for another item. Participants ranked memorability as the most important and reusability as the least important factor when choosing PINs. But as you will see later, participants widely reused PINs. The interview scripts show that users reuse PINs to improve memorability. Participants were asked if they updated their PIN in the past, why they updated it, and how they selected the new one. Their responses were codified. A total of 49 PIN updates were reported by the participants. This diagram shows the asset categories on the left, the reasons for updates in the middle, and how they selected new PINs on the right. Regardless of the reason for PIN update, and even after a compromise, many participants used insecure PIN selection techniques, such as significant numbers or keypad patterns. We also asked participants who they shared their PINs with. Most participants shared their digital and financial PINs, and all but one shared their physical PIN with someone. Among participants that live with their spouses, all but one shared their digital PIN with their spouses. Many of the participants that had shared their financial PIN with children reported sharing it with them inadvertently and not updating it later. For physical assets, 8 participants shared their PIN with helpers such as cleaning or dog walking services. A few participants reported keeping their physical PINs even after contact with the third party had concluded. We will discuss one of the reasons for this later. 80% of participants reported using a PIN for more than one asset. 18 participants reported reusing PINs across asset types. Participants were asked to recall the last time a PIN in each asset category may have been subjected to a shoulder surfing or guessing attack, regardless of the outcome. More attacks are reported for digital and financial assets than for physical assets, and more shoulder surfing attacks were reported than guessing attacks. Participants were asked their recourse in response to attack, and their responses were codified. Many participants reported doing nothing to prevent an attack. The reasons reported for this inaction included either trusting the attacker, laziness, or that they felt the attack failed. Several participants reported issues with PIN interfaces that reduced the security or usability of PIN authentication. 2 participants complained about the Netflix parental PIN, explaining that they had to send their children out of the room before entering the PIN. 9 participants reported moving to a home with a PIN keypad for the garage door opener. Only 3 of 9 participants updated their PIN, while 6 kept the PIN set by the previous owner. Several participants reported wanting to change their garage door PIN, but were unable to, either because the information on how to update it wasn't available, or they just simply, it took too long. In summary, our findings show widespread sharing and reuse of PINs for memorability reasons. Participants voiced a lack of confidence in PIN authentication due to the ease and frequency of shoulder surfing attacks. PIN management behaviors differed between asset types due to the availability of recourse in the case of a compromise. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to contact us with any inquiries.